So my client Isaiah, when he first joined the program, immediately had a ton of success. He had a video take off. This video has 279,000 views. This was the first video ever that took off on his channel. And his channel almost immediately scaled to nearly $30,000 a month. But then he had a big problem. He started posting more videos and his videos kinda just died. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still doing relatively well, but none of them were hitting even 10,000 views. And most of them were pretty much dying after the first 48 hours. And he was wondering why. What is it that he did on the video that did extremely well that was different on his follow-up videos? And why were his videos dying after 48 hours? And chances are, if you're watching this video, you are having the same exact problem. And I've worked with literally thousands of people at this point to help them grow their YouTube channels. And when I say help them grow their YouTube channels, I don't just mean get views, but also actually make money from YouTube channels, right? Actual sustainable businesses that they can grow on YouTube. And so if you're one of those people that not only wants to get views, but get the types of views that can actually make you money and make sure that your videos don't die within the first 48 hours, then definitely watch this video, because I'm gonna be going over the top reasons why this happens, and chances are you're doing one or possibly even all of these things. And by the way, this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a completely free workshop where I talk about how to pick your niche, how to position yourself within the niche, how to get views, how to pick the right video ideas, and how to actually monetize your channel correctly, called The New Way to Make Money with YouTube. So check that out in the description, in the pinned comment below. This Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be me on a Zoom call live with you. It'll be a great workshop. I'll teach you all the do's and the don'ts. I'll be giving away a free AI that we've worked on for the last year that makes this entire process much easier, called the Niche Validator Pro 2.1. And I'll be answering any questions that you have at the very end, literally any questions you have. So click the link in the description in the pinned comment below. Look forward to seeing you there Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you appreciate me making videos like this, let me know by gently tapping that like button. And let's jump into it right now. And we're gonna talk about exactly why Isaiah had a ton of success with this video right here. Don't sing from your throat, #1 vocal exercise to unlock powerful high notes. And then most of his follow-up videos after that didn't do nearly as well. Now, by the way, his business is totally fine. He's still getting a ton of people coming in just from residual people that are watching these videos, but he's still wondering why he hasn't had another video take off. Now, Isaiah was following our methodologies really well. And we're gonna talk about how to find videos, how to package them here in a moment, because that's probably what a lot of you are messing up on. But the thing he was messing up on was actually qualification. You see, Isaiah has a coaching offer where he teaches people how to get better at singing. And specifically, not just any people, but people who are at the very least intermediates already, and they either want to go pro or they're already professionals and they want to sing even better. He's actually worked with literally famous people to help them sing better. And so in most of his videos, he, at the very beginning of the video, qualifies his audience very hard, meaning he basically says, this video is for intermediates or professionals or people who are already doing gigs, like singing gigs, or people who are already recording studio albums. And that is the problem. Qualification is great because you want to attract the right audience, but doing it too close to the beginning of your video might be absolutely killing your chances of success. And so if you are going to qualify really hard at the beginning of the video, then you must also qualify very hard in your title and your thumbnail as well. But the problem with doing that is if you do that, you're making what's known as niche content that likely will not reach nearly as wide or nearly as much of an audience. And so what he was doing is there was a bit of a mismatch between his titles as thumbnails and how he was qualifying people right at the beginning of his videos. And so there's basically two choices for Isaiah. He can either qualify hard in his titles, in his thumbnails, and basically say, hey, here's 5 singing lessons or 5 warm-up lessons for pro singers. And then he can continue qualifying hard in his intro. Or what he can do is qualify way less hard in his video, get way more viewers, which is basically what he did from this video right here. Don't sing from your throat, #1 vocal exercise to unlock powerful high notes. And then towards the middle or even at the end of the video, that's where he qualifies. That's where he says, by the way, I work with professionals or intermediates that want to go pro. And if you're interested in working with me as a student, with me being your coach, then go ahead and book a call or, whatever the lead magnet is, etc., in the description of the pinned comment below. So just as an example, Most of the people that I work with are like small business owners, solopreneurs, or above, right? So most of the people that I work with when it comes to YouTube do take YouTube very seriously. With that being said, a lot of the people who watch my videos are probably beginners at YouTube, or they haven't even started YouTube yet, and that's completely fine. And I'm not going to disqualify those people right at the beginning, because what will happen is they will click off of the video, and then the YouTube algorithm will think that the video is bad. And then it just won't promote it to anybody. So qualifying is very important, right? Because the reason someone clicks on your video may not be the reason that they continue watching your video, and they also may not be the reason that they actually buy your products or services. Those three things are different. They come for the X, they stay for the Y, they buy for the Z. And it's very possible that only a small percentage of your audience is actually going to buy the thing that you have to sell. Now, if you're making super niche content, all three of those things can be exactly the same. Just know that you're limiting the total potential of your channel because you're not gonna be getting that many views. However, there's a lot of people that use more mass market strategies where they get more views, less people are qualified, but they end up getting more overall qualified people. And whether this is good or bad for you is gonna be different depending on your niche and your situation. So let me give you a really good example of someone who does this well. Arvin Haddad. So Arvin makes these very interesting reaction style videos where he basically reacts to real estate agents that are showing off ultra luxury properties. We're talking about properties that are oftentimes over $100 million. If you're thinking about a property that's over $100 million, like that's 0.001% of the population that can afford a property like that. If he were to make videos specifically for that population, he'd probably get 5 views per video. Obviously, that's probably not the best strategy to make videos on YouTube for his specific demographic. So what does he do instead? He has more of a mass market approach where he basically does review videos or reaction videos on these real estate agents that review the properties. And for instance, in a reaction video, he might say, hey, the real estate agent's saying how great this property is, but did you know that you're gonna have to wait 15 minutes for the elevator? You know, so he basically gives the reality of the pros and cons of the different properties, which is quite valuable and quite interesting. Now, 99.9% of people, maybe even more, that watch his content are not going to be good fits for buying a $100 million luxury property. So basically, the reason people click on his videos is kind of drama, right? He's basically positioning the video as a review to somebody else who's overhyping the property. So that's the original reason why people click on the video. So they come for the kind of drama reaction style content. So first of all, the reason they click on his video is because he's reviewing or reacting to very popular videos. So oftentimes this might be the very first video that pops up after you watch one of these extremely popular videos like Steinway Tower Penthouse Tour with Eric Conover, which got millions of views.
You're about to find out the bad and the ugly. My name is Arvin Haddad.
And some of these videos are getting like tens of millions of views. It's crazy. So that's why they came. The reason they stayed is because there's a little bit of drama. You know, he's kind of saying that these people are overselling the property and maybe even lying about some stuff. And then also there's a good education aspect to it, right? He's actually educating people about the properties, things to look at, things that a lot of people ignore, big mistakes that people make, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's why people stay. And then of course, the reason people buy is the less than 0.1% of people that watch the video that actually can afford a property like this. Obviously, they trust this guy because he's telling the truth. He's very knowledgeable. He's demonstrating his expertise and he's showing how useful and helpful that he can be. And so I'm sure he has many different product offerings on this YouTube channel. Some of them are a bit lower ticket for people who are maybe buying like, you know, $1 million or $10 million properties, but I'm sure he has high ticket consulting offerings for the people who are buying $100 million properties as well. So this is a great example of they came for the X, they stayed for the Y, they bought for the Z. It's important you understand this with your channel. And you should either qualify throughout all of it, or you shouldn't qualify at all until midway through the video or at the end, because you basically want the YouTube algorithm to think that your video is really good for a mass market audience, and they're going to show that video to a larger amount of total people that are potentially good buyers of your products or services. Now, this brings me to the second point, because there's really two other things that you absolutely have to have dialed in for this to work. And the second point is you need to have congruency between your thumbnail, your title, and your intro. Now, I briefly touched on this before, but this is another place where Isaiah was messing up. So for instance, with this video right here, what your singing voice sounds like to others and how to improve it voice lesson, This basically sounds like it's made for a mass market audience. So this is a type of title that almost anybody could potentially click on, right? Almost anybody is interested what their singing voice sounds like to other people, or at least anybody who's interested in singing would probably be interested in this topic. But the problem is right at the beginning of his video, he talks about how, something happened again, which is they went to record in a studio, or they went to basically, sing in front of an audience, and it didn't go very well for them.
And you feel like, man, I sounded so good when I was practicing.
And that's the problem, is the intro is not congruent with the title. I like to think of the title, the thumbnail, and the intro all together, right? I call them the holy trifecta, because not only is it important that they're actually relatively good, but more importantly, they need to be congruent with each other. And you should always think of them together because you need them to be congruent. It's incredibly important that those three things are congruent. In this particular case, Isaiah's title, thumbnail, and intro was not congruent because his title was much more mass market, and so was his thumbnail, but in his intro, he qualified way too hard, and he was talking only to people who do studio recordings or they sing in front of live audiences, etc. And so if you are gonna make a video where you're only talking to those types of people, you need to make sure that the title and the thumbnail also communicate that, or in many cases, it's actually preferable to just target that mass market audience, and then somewhere around halfway through the video, or even all the way through the video, you can basically tell them. So for instance, in my particular case, I might say something like this: hey, if you're somebody who is very serious about YouTube, because I know that 99% of people who watch my videos just want to enjoy the free content, learn a lot. They might even attend my live trainings, get a ton of value out of that, and that's completely fine. And only 1% of people that watch the videos, or probably even less, is going to end up working with me personally or me and my team. But if you are that 1% of people, go ahead and book a call. It'll be in the description. It might also be in the about section on my channel. On this call, we'll figure out where you are right now, where you want to be. We'll make a plan to get there, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together or not, right? You have to be willing to start right now, and you have to be willing to take YouTube very seriously and want to turn it into a massive income source for yourself or your business. So click that link in the description, in the pinned comment below. At the very least, attend the live training to check that out. That'll be a good way for you to dip your toe in. And if you're really serious about it and you want to jump in right now, then click the link to book a call in the description or in the about section on my channel, right? So that was basically what I did. I said something like that, and that is qualifying, but it's not qualifying right at the beginning of the video, which is the important thing. You might have noticed that I did mention a live training towards the beginning of the video, and that is way less qualification because it's a live training. It's completely free. You just basically show up, I do a workshop, I give a ton of value in the workshop, and then of course at the end of the workshop, I will have something to sell them for the people who make it to the end. But notice that I didn't disqualify a bunch of people there. Whether or not they're super qualified to work with me or they aren't super qualified, they can attend the workshop and they can get a ton of value from it. And same thing with watching my videos. Whether or not they're qualified or not, they can watch my videos and get a ton of value from them. So this is something that is very important, making sure that your holy trifecta, your thumbnail, your title, and intro are all congruent with each other. And this brings me to point number 3, and probably the biggest reason why basically most people's videos just run out of steam after 48 hours and they just don't get any more views. And that is because you're making videos on ideas that nobody cares about, or you're making videos on ideas that are way too saturated. So basically, you're not picking the right video ideas. So this is actually the most important thing out of all. You must pick the right video ideas if you want to be successful on YouTube. In fact, this is how important it is. Everything about your video can be extremely mediocre, but if you pick the right video ideas, your video will very likely do well. Whereas if you pick a bad video idea, everything about your video can be top tier. The editing, the thumbnail, the title, your presentation, like everything can be top tier, and your video will probably not perform. It'll probably just die. That is how important the video idea is. Now, I've gone into great detail on this channel about how to pick video ideas. I call it the icon method. Sometimes the simplified version is the hot dog method. And that's something I'm gonna be going into great detail in the live training this Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So click that link in the description in the pinned comment below to check that out. But basically, when it comes to picking the right ideas, people mess up on this all the time. The first most common thing that people do is they basically try to open a restaurant in the the middle of the desert, right? There's no people in the middle of the desert. And there's nobody to eat your food. Why are you trying to open a restaurant in the middle of the desert? That's a terrible idea. That's the same as when you make video ideas that just nobody cares about at all. You're basically just throwing stuff against the wall in the dark. You don't even know if it's stuck or not. That's a pretty bad idea. The second most common mistake that people make is they try to copy big YouTubers that already have a well-established brand. So I've seen this a million times. People that try to copy Casey Neistat or Peter McKinnon or, all these different big YouTubers. And the truth is they already have a well-established brand. They already have an audience of people that know, like, and trust them. And so they can make video ideas on all kinds of different stuff and it'll still do well because they already have the audience. So they are the last people in the world that you would want to copy. I remember, I think it was 5 or 6 years back, Jenna Marbles posted a video where the title of the video was "My Dog Pooped" and the thumbnail was her dog pooping. And the video got like millions of views. Okay, if you post that same video, it's not gonna get millions of views, right? Do you understand? Like, it's so important to not copy big YouTubers. Do not ever copy big YouTubers. It's a terrible idea. So what should you do? You should find videos from smaller channels that got a lot of views and are objectively either mediocre or preferably bad. Okay? And that is the icon method, or sometimes the simplified version is the hot dog method. And that is what I'll be teaching this Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the link in the description, the pinned comment below to check that out. All right, so like I said, 99% of people who watch my videos are never going to work with myself or my team, and that's completely fine. I give tons of value away completely free on YouTube. I also give tons of value away in my live trainings, and I expect nothing in return, and that's totally fine. With that being said, for the 1% or less of you out there that are business owners, solopreneurs, or you really just want to take YouTube seriously. I've even worked with 10-figure businesses on their YouTube strategy before as well. Those types of people should absolutely book a call with me down in the description or in the pinned comment below or in my about section. On this call, we'll figure out where you are right now, where you want to be. We'll make a plan to get there and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together or not. And somebody who booked that same call and got incredibly good results was Sean, who when he first started working with me, he was making about $30,000 a month, and we helped him scale all the way up to over $500,000 a month. And you can check that video out by clicking right here.